And we're back with another episode of Lakers Latest. I'm Gerald Glassford, the host of the Lakers Latest podcast, part of the Fan Arc Network. Please like and subscribe. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live with the latest Lakers Latest that gets uploaded from my friends once again at the Fan Arc Network. And speaking of the Fan Arc Network, if you're liking and subscribing what I do here at Lakers Latest, go ahead for the parent channel on YouTube because they have a main hub right there for you at the Fan Arc Network where they have a ton of shows featuring a ton of teams that you need to check out today. If you like and subscribe to those shows or to the big channel itself, it is sincerely appreciated. Well, the Lakers are going to have a busy week here, a very busy road trip up ahead, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But did want to mention first off that I don't know about you guys. Again, they don't talk about the entire game on replay, the officials do, but they have this thing the next day that they put out after a game called the NBA 2-minute report. And again, sometimes I wish they would just talk about missed calls the entire game and then go from there. But they always seem to focus in on just the final 2 minutes and what mistakes were made and what should have been corrected. As a way to out the referees, but also and just to admit their mistakes, but maybe as a part of transparency. But I would love to see it evolve into something where they put out a list for the entire game. But still, 2-minute report indeed. So the latest 2-minute report for the Lakers in Denver. Great win for the Lakers once again. But according to the NBA, should not have happened because as I remember telling you guys on yesterday's show, as we talked about how the Lakers got into overtime so that they could win on Luka Doncic's shot in overtime, Austin Reeves got fouled with 9 seconds left, and he made the first, intentionally missed the second, got his own rebound, and put up the basket to tie the game. But that foul that sent Austin to the line with 9 seconds left should not have counted, according to the NBA officials. They ruled that Spencer Jones had a clean strip of the ball off of Austin Reeves, and that should not have been a call that that went against Denver, ultimately led to the loss in overtime for the Denver Nuggets. But again, great benefit for the Lakers. But again, this 2-minute report, it is what it is. Clean transparency, but still, I'd love to see them put out a report for the entire game on what was missed because, there were probably calls that they missed against the Lakers. It worked. So maybe it was tit for tat, so to speak, as far as, okay, they missed one that worked against the Nuggets, but how many did they miss against the Lakers? I know we fans saw the game, know that there were some questionable calls during the course of the game, but again, they only focus in on this 2 minutes for clean transparency. So if you have thoughts on that, please let me know below in the comments. Would love to hear from you on that. But did the Lakers catch a lucky break? I know that if you're a Denver fan, you're saying yes. And I know if you're an NBA fan that hates the Lakers, you're probably saying yes as well. But me, I'm going to say, look, let's take a look at the entire game and see how it worked for or against the Lakers as far as the calls are concerned. See, that's the problem. They don't put out a 48-minute report. They only put out a 2-minute report, and that is the problem they're in. But again, if you have thoughts on the transparency for the NBA and saying that Austin Reeves should not have gone to the free throw line, please let me know your thoughts right there in the comments below as well. But just wanted to go ahead and make mention that because the Lakers did get the win, and they're now in third place. And with the loss by Minnesota, and also, of course, they beat Denver, they have a chance this week. Another opportunity is upon them to take advantage. Will they do it? We'll have to wait and see because the Lakers are in Houston for a Texas two-step. Ooh, look how I put that in there. Yes, a Texas two-step Monday and Wednesday against Houston, what they call a baseball doubleheader. But yes, it's not on a back to back. It's a Monday and Wednesday in Houston. So they're going to be in Houston for 3 days total. So we will wait and see. But it all starts later today, Monday, against the Rockets. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on what they need to do to win the game. Of course, Kevin Durant playing still at a very high level. They have not done much to replace the injured Fred Van Vliet as far as a main ball handler, and that has worked for and against them as far as maybe better defensively, but also as well, it's worked against them as far as running their offense, especially at critical times, as we've seen over the course of the games that I've watched from them. So it has worked against them in some ways by not getting a main ball handler in that lineup, but they've been able to still post a nice record, and they're only half game behind the Lakers heading into this 2 game set. And if the Lakers have an opportunity to take the season series from the Houston Rockets, I just sincerely hope they do, because splitting it, I guess, is okay, but I really would love to see them get that Texas 2 step with 2 straight wins, solidify themselves, and plus also as well with what right now 15 games left on the slate. If they win those 2 games in Houston and come back 4-2 on the road trip, which I'm going to talk about here more in a second, man, that would really get them going. First of all, it would create a buffer between them and Houston, and then also may provide separation from Denver and Minnesota, and may help them in their case to solidify third place in the Western Conference. With a good road trip, it could really solidify their place in the Western Conference. And if you have thoughts on that, please let me know in the comments below. If you think that the Lakers can really make a statement for third place, I don't want to say lock up, because when they come out of it, there'll still be 9 games left as far as the season is concerned. So do you think that the Lakers can go ahead and have a good road trip? Do you think that they can win 2 in Houston? Or do you think they'll split? Or do you think that Houston will have that home court advantage? We'll find out, because Houston has played well at home. They're 23-8 heading into this game later today. So it's going to be a tough test for the Lakers to not just win 1, but to win 2 in Houston, indeed. But I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. If the Lakers will go ahead and get some victories out there in Houston. Looking forward to that. But again, great season so far for Kevin Durant. He's been able to go ahead and find the right mix with this team. He actually just hit a game winning shot for them against the New Orleans Pelicans on Friday. And they've had some days off as well. So, yeah, absolutely. Just not the greatest of circumstances for the Lakers heading in there, as far as, they've had several days off for the Houston Rockets have. But still, the Lakers have got to be ready. And I think they can go ahead and at least get a split out there in Houston. And man, if they can get 2 in Houston, that could really solidify things going forward. And if you think the same, if you think that it's reasonable to think that they could possibly take not just 1, but 2 games in Houston, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. But yeah, Kevin Durant still having a great season. 26, he's in his late 30s, still 26 points a game, keying this team for Houston Rockets. So definitely looking forward to the challenge ahead for the Lakers. But again, Lakers come in on a high, playing really well, 5 in a row, heading into Houston for a 2 set. Looking forward to seeing that matchup indeed, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to seeing if the Lakers are up to the challenge, because I think they are. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But again, that's just the start of this road trip. Okay, let me go ahead. And I don't know if you remember my previous show where I talked about the road trip, but they've got, like I said, Monday and Wednesday in Houston. After the Houston game on Wednesday, guess what? The schedule makers are very kind to Lakers. Absolutely not, they're not. But they, next day on Thursday. So they've got a game in Houston on Wednesday. Then they've got a back to back in South Beach, in Miami on Thursday. Then they've got Orlando on Saturday. Then they've got Detroit the next Monday, a week from Monday, a week from today. And then a week from Wednesday, they finish off the road set with Indiana. Those games, the Miami game coming off a back to back, Orlando, they never do great in Florida. They usually split at best. Detroit, I know Detroit has not played quite as well as of late, but they are still a very good home team and they are still leading the East at this point in time. So, and they probably will be leading the East when the Lakers head into Detroit. So I wonder how that's going to end up. Hopefully, my friend L. Rob, one of the Lakerholics at Lakerholics.com, will be able to go ahead and make that game because he does live in the area. Shout out to you, L. Rob. And then, of course, Indiana, who is already in the midst of tanking. So we will see if they put up a fight in Indiana because the Lakers will be tired coming off of a very tough road trip. And sometimes those games at the latter end sometimes lead to some slip ups. So I'm hoping that the Lakers will at least stay focused heading into Indiana a week from Wednesday. So again, 6 games for the Lakers. How well do you think they will do? I want to hear your thoughts below in the comments because, again, is this the toughest road trip of the season? Maybe record wise, I don't know. Maybe it will be because, again, they're playing Detroit, Houston twice, and those teams, of course, are above 600. Then you have Orlando, who's trying to fight, and Miami trying to fight for positions in the playoffs, so they're not going to be pushovers. And then, of course, you ended with Indiana. So again, 5 of those 6 games against playoff teams. Your thoughts on how the Lakers will do on this road trip? A very important road trip for the Lakers. As we started, a chance with a good road trip to really look good for locking up a third seed heading into it. But again, this is a team in the Lakers who've talked about that has not always taken advantage of its opportunities, but this past week they have. Can they continue? I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. We'd love to hear from you on that. And again, speaking of those comments, I want to go ahead before we head on out. You're sharing thoughts on the big win against Denver. I guess the victory that we shouldn't have got according to the NBA. But I do want to hear your thoughts on this. Craig, my man, Lakers might be back to the Kobe days where 1 or 2 players like Luka and Austin are clutch players with the last shot of the game. Great confidence builder for the two. Smart was good on offense and defense. Yes, he was. This was probably his best game combined on both ends of the floor for him. So it was really good to see. Ayton made a comeback in that fourth quarter, even in that overtime, because for most of the, Hayes played a integral role, at the fourth quarter as the minutes were winding down. But JJ, I got to give him credit, and I will give him credit when I see it. He did make the smart move by putting Ayton in there, a fresh Ayton against Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic struggled and absolutely was a great part of the Lakers' victory in that overtime. So yes, I absolutely made a great effort there. LeBron, I didn't think he would adjust to being the third wheel. Maybe it's age, maybe it's ego. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's just has now a willingness to be a team player. Maybe him sitting out those games and seeing what Luka and Austin were doing made him realize that might be the case. He is, according to what you said, in these past couple games, being a true team player, Craig. Austin is improving in his weak areas. I'm hoping he will still work on his handle more. He falls too much in love with his dribble at times, and we've seen him make some costly turnovers like he did on Saturday. Almost bit the Lakers on that, but still they were able to get the victory. So it is concerning. And then, of course, the defensive side of the ball, that's a question that will be answered in the playoffs when it comes to Austin. Because, again, how much are you going to commit to the guy is probably dependent on what we'll see in the final 15 games of the season and what we'll see in the playoffs. But we will see. Luka, I would have second next to SGA. You have him pretty high then. I do not have him as my second. I do have him on my top five, but I don't have him a top two. I still put well, right now, again, perspective could be changing. But yeah, with Wemby out there getting his numbers, Jokic out there getting his numbers, but his team is not doing as well as they once were. Luca could be moving up. He's been moving up in the past week with a really good week. So having him second, it's not bad. It's not a bad deal at all. Uh, but with Wembyama, that he's been playing really at a high level, and people are starting to talk about him like Luca at second place as well. So we'll see. I have a very fluid top five, which is changing from week to week as far as it's concerned. So. If you have Luca at second, I can't say I blame you a bit because the way he has played in the last week, he has played like an MVP. That's for sure, indeed. SGA has that 20 plus points in many consecutive games. Plus, he's in first. Houston has to at least split. Yeah, Houston does have to at least split. That is true. I agree with you there for them. But if they don't, the Lakers do have a really great inline towards third place in the Western Conference if they can go ahead and get two in Houston and finish the road trip 4-2. Possibly, we'll have to wait and see. Record realistically though for Craig is 3-3. I can't say I blame you. The back to back in Miami, that one's going to be a killer. Then going to Detroit, that's going to be a killer as well. Yeah, some very tough opponents indeed. Absolutely, Craig. Always love hearing from you, my friend. Isaac said, "What's up, my man? Isaac, great to have you here. Truly appreciate it anytime you get a chance to watch. They should have never given that lead up. Third quarter bugaboo. Yeah, they've been playing better this season in the third quarter. At times, in fact, in the past week, they've had some really good runs in the third quarter. But this case, third quarter was not to their liking this time around, and Denver came back, pulled out an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Lakers, got to give them credit in the clutch. They reeled them back in. Despite making some concerning mistakes, they did come up clutch when it mattered the most and got some help from the refs as well. So, according to the NBA. So, hey, sometimes some people will say rather be lucky than good. So I hear you on that one. Luca Magic came up big, and AR's gritty instincts was huge too. Yes, he was. AR did a couple things as far as turnovers that I'd like to see him not make those mistakes in. There was one pass that had us all scratching our heads, and then there was a drive where he just got it cleanly stripped. Um, like I said, he falls sometimes too in love with his handle at times, but again, he did make that epic shot. You have to give him a ton of credit. He is playing now in the past week himself like a guy who is really looking forward to being a number two with the Lakers or somewhere else and getting paid like a number two or somewhere else indeed. So we will see what happens with that. But again, AR's did play extremely well and has played extremely well in the past few games, and he's got to get a ton of credit for doing just that. And Tufso, my man Tufso, he said, "Congrats to SGA because nobody passes well." Yeah, I'm a big Wilt fan. I really appreciated what he gave to the NBA. Again, a lot of people have said this and about that about Wilt. His record, he's got some records that will never be touched. That one, a lot of people thought would never be touched, but you know what? Credit SGA. He did it, and now he's passing. Now the record is his. I don't see anybody averaging 48 and a half minutes. That one is kind of tough one. As far as that's concerned, I don't see anyone average the kind of points and rebounds combined like he did, 50 points plus in the season, the 100-point game. I mean, Wilt's got a few records that I think are going to be really hard to reach for any basketball player going forward. But we will wait and see. That's part of the reason why records are made, so that they could be broken indeed. But you guys had some great comments. I truly appreciate it. And again, great to have you here. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford right here for you at Lakers Latest. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget my friends at the Fan Arc Network as well. Like and subscribe with them. Tonight, it is the Lakers in Houston for the first of two. That's Monday and Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it and also looking forward to sharing thoughts on the game, breaking it down for you, and what's upcoming with the Lakers, always for you right here at Lakers Latest. Thanks so much, everyone, and have yourself a great week ahead. Go Lakers.